Hello friends and enemies! Welcome to another build video. This one's going to be a little different than the other ones have been. This is the Daily Bugle, and this is the project that we had talked about on the last show. So this is a lot of Lego pieces, because we're going to build this thing, and we're going to build it at fast speed, and it's going to be incredible. Look at all these pieces. It's crazy. There's so many Lego pieces. There's another box at the bottom that just has more Lego pieces in it. I was sitting here looking at this box for a whole week, wondering, could it possibly be that this whole box is needed for all these Lego pieces? And the answer is yes. Yes. In fact, you do need the whole box for all the Lego pieces that come with this set. I had a lovely assistant. My friend Brandon Bucker came by to help me build this. So you'll see him sitting in the background here in a second. But this is us going through all the bags, trying to figure out what we need to do. And here comes the speed. So you're going to see here a few different times that I pause and stop. I messed up a lot, like a lot when it came to building this. There were several points where I had to completely backtrack and do things again. I also had trouble finding pieces, so you'll see Bucker come by and help me out with finding stuff at various points. So here we see the base level of the Daily Bugle. It's going to have a nice green entryway. It did remind me quite a bit of the buildings that I actually did work in when I worked in New York City. I still work in New York City, I just work remotely. But you can see here, taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, putting it back together. There's also this controversy between me and Bucker. We agreed that a lot of the pieces had to have stickers placed on them, and we would rather that Lego just put the stickers on, because both of us have hands that shake, and it's not great when you're trying to put on stickers to have hands that shake. And we would much rather just have a machine do it for us ahead of time. We don't really get any fun out of putting the stickers on stuff. Alright, so we're still on the first floor, but we are looking at the walls of the first floor coming up. So we got a door, we got an emergency exit. This is actually the back. And then you can see the walls coming together. There's the elevator in the back. There is an elevator on every floor, although I will say that the elevator jumps several feet. If we're talking about within the scale of the build itself, the elevator steps forward quite a few blocks in terms of its actual build. So the first two floors, the elevator is in line with itself, and then the third floor, you have a balcony put on the back end, and that throws off the build structure of the elevators, because the elevator now no longer goes up in a straight line. It has this kind of weird L. So you can see there's going to be a few jumps here. I tried to record as much as I could, but I kept on running out of battery life and camera power and space on my memory cards, so it was a process to try and get it all done. And you'll see here we have a few jumps as a result. So now we are working on the second floor. This is the Daily Bugle office's general, which I really like this floor. This floor was one of the more fun ones to build. The whole process was exhausting. I built for, I built all day Saturday, and then I built late into the night. I built until about 3 in the morning. I actually had a moment where I thought my clock was broken, because I had been building for hours, and I looked over. I had looked at the clock at around 12:30, and I looked over again, and it was 1:30, and I was like, why is one of my numbers not working on my clock? Because it can't possibly be 1:30 in the morning. But it was. So here we have, I believe this is the third floor. This is Peter's office, along with just general space. I do love the fire escape. The fire escape was a fun thing to build. It did get a little repetitive, I won't lie. There was a lot of doing the same thing over and over again, but overall, not too bad. Not so bad that it was frustrating. I do wish that the minifigures had all been in one thing. The minifigures came with each setup, so there were 16 sets of bags that you had to go through to build the thing, and there were 1 to 3 minifigures in each set of bags, which is a fun idea. You can see me building a ton of windows. I built so many goddamn windows for this thing. It's a fun idea, but we were hoping that Bucker could build the minifigures for me, and that didn't really end up happening because he would only have about, 30 seconds worth of work before we ran out of pieces because the next minifigure wasn't for another hour. You can see me going through the book trying to figure out if I'm missing something, because I was fairly certain I was. Nope. We're all good. Moving on. So this was definitely an effort in patience and focus. Kelly played a lot of Pokemon while I did this. I will say the nature of it, where you can kind of move around the different floors, is really nice. I wish that it clipped in a little better. It doesn't fall out by any means or stretch of the imagination, but there are just general moments where I was like, oh, I wish that this fit a little better. I wish that this fit a little better. We're working on the roof now. So you can see we lost footage from Jonah's office, so I'm sorry for anybody who wanted to see me build Jonah's office, but we'll get a look at it in a second. This is the roof. This is day 2 of the build. Well, actually, I ran out of battery life for the lettering, so unfortunately we didn't get to do that, but you got to see the rest of the roof. Here's Firestar, and here's the final product. So this is how it looks on the outside. It is quite a thing. You can see I modulated the different fronts so that it's more to my liking. I didn't really care for the setup that they had for it, so instead I went back and changed up where each front panel goes on the body of the Daily Bugle here. We're going to take a look at the inside. You also can't look at the inside of the first floor. We're going to try and take a look, but it's a little too dark. So you can see Jonah. Jonah and his webbed up mouth. Betty, my favorite lady, Betty Brandt. Peter in his office. All that joy. Lots of clutter. I do like that they tried to put in the meme. That's fun. The Daily Bugle offices as a whole. And then if you turn it, you get to see the sides and the back. We have Gwen Stacy waiting out on the balcony for Peter to come out and meet her. Several bird's nests. A nice look at the back end of the roof, which does look great. I gotta say, the back end of it doesn't necessarily need to look great, but they made it look very good, and I'm very happy with it. And then you go to the side here. There's a little panel on the front floor, or the first floor rather, that pops out. Tried to get a look in there, but it's a little too dark. It's a little too dark to see anything. But trust me, it does look like the entryway without lights to a New York City office building. And then my personal favorite, the backpack behind the webbing. The one thing that the Homecoming Spider-Man never learned. Web your backpack up where no one can find it. So that's it. That's going to be our build. So thank you for watching. It was fun putting this thing together. And I can't wait for the next project that we have. We're going to have another build. I have the Locust units still need to be finished. I have one last build to go for that storyline. We're going to try and finish that off. And yeah, we'll see you next time, friends and enemies.